Gonna come up here so I can put your shirt on?
Okay. Yes.
Oh, now you know how to do it. Oh, I see.
I want it.
You watching Clifford?
Clifford.
That was your sister's favorite. You a Clifford monster?
Clifford.
Okay. Let's see how I can do this. Dancing in your shadow? You gotta find a way to show the shadow someday.
Myself.
Yeah, but the camera can't see your shadow because it's over here to the side. It's on the side of the camera light or the other side of you from the camera. It literally pushes the light around you. Wait, let's see. Let's see where the light is. Nope. Maybe next time I'll try and do the light off again. Oh, you're on my stomach. Oh, my fat. You doing good today? What's in your stomach? A good Saturday? You happy?
Yeah.
Oh, my ashy legs. Okay, say bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Okay, let's put your shirt on. We'll wash some walls today.
Bye-bye.
There's some maintenance around here. We got the paperwork. The lady who's been working as the property manager is trying to evict us because she says that we didn't do the paperwork. We did. We did it with the manager who was here before her. We still don't have the deed, which is the technicality with the laws. This place is supposed to be owners only. And because we don't have the deed in our name, that's the sticking point. Could use some prayer for that if that's done and it's here. We've got this $118 fee that we've got to pay for the house. I didn't know that it wasn't paid by the executors, but paying it, I think I was told, would actually make it it's in our favor. For owning, as if you pay the taxes, basically it proves that you're the owner. So we've spent down most of our money for this period, waiting for some things to pay. Got a lot of Amazon, a lot of phones, a lot of this, a lot of that. So we'll have the money, the cash to pay it off and get it done.
Yay!
Okay, give me kisses. Close mouth. We just need agreement. We know that this is done. It kind of had me yesterday. Kind of stressing, but I'm done with that. Why are you blinking so much?
Bicket.
Oh, you're doing eye kisses?
Bicket.
You doing eye kisses?
I did it.
Oh. Really got in the Word. For me, intercession is one of my strengths. So when I can find a place to pray for other people, I calm down. It actually helps me. So found a couple of places where people just really needed prayer and prayed for them. We had a couple of little checks come in yesterday, one for $9, one for $22, and we have stuff like that just continually flowing in, like daily. So it's here. It's getting done. We have this. I have the assurance that it's okay and in order. Just it hit me. It was one of those attacks. Oh. Something came up recently about the cars. So when I bought 2 cars for my stepdad. One that was running, one that wasn't. The one that wasn't running, I bought it from him with insurance that he and I would work together and fix it.
It's fun.
After I got it, he decided he didn't want to work on cars anymore, so it sat in my driveway forever. I finally got it towed away for $50 the other day. The other one, something happened with the pink slips because last summer my daughter got one from him too. My daughter's boyfriend had an accident and it showed up in my insurance company. They were like, hey, what'd you do to the car? And I was like, nothing, it's been sitting there. Turns out that I was given the wrong pink slip. So we paid for the registration on her car last year, and we insured her car, but not mine. So, the stepdad came, called the other day or sent a text the other day saying, "Hey, I got a bill for, not registering on time." And I was like, "Hey, you and I took the money and we went down to, what is it? AAA, and we did it right there at the counter. We got the tags, we put them on together. And then someone else was holding the pink slips. I'm going to go into great detail on that. So I'm sorry, it wasn't registration wasn't changed over to my name. But right now I have a car that runs finally, but apparently isn't insured or we did put the tags on it, but the tags were stolen. And I've been driving it with the assurance that, I have insurance and, if I get pulled over, I'm just going to tell them, hey, run it. The tags are stolen. I did call the police to make that complaint. They kind of did their e-file system. It's kind of crazy here. Unless somebody's getting killed, they want you to talk to a computer and it gets really old really quick. I'm not worrying about it. I know that it's all in order. It's all coming together. Again, my piece is returned, restored. My biggest issue right now is that I can look around the walls and I can see the handprints at 2-year-old level and the TV all the way around the house. So I think we're gonna do that today. That's our big thing. We're really double flea dipping the dog. We've been out to the dog park. We were going almost every day this last week to a dog park, and I think he picked up a flea or two. And we don't use standard flea stuff. We use usually lemon juice, a citric acid or a natural acid. We switched over to here I have it here. In fact, it's my bottle. So I ran out of lemon juice, but I got a gallon of vinegar, which is an acid. And what it does is it eats anything with an exoskeleton. So we spray his bed, we spray him down till he's soaked, and we do that, every other day, every 3 days. And we don't have any chemicals in our house, as far as these two are concerned, in that area. That's when we were dealing with bugs in the house. It was all baking soda or what's the other stuff? Diatomaceous earth is usually what I use outside. But we were using borax mixed with peanut butter, and I took peanut butter jar lids, mixed the borax, peanut butter, and sugar, and put it in the lids and threw them underneath stuff so that any bugs that were in the house would supposedly they're attracted to it, they eat it. I guess it gives them gas. They can't throw up, so their guts split open, so they die inside. That's the segue, sorry, from just the flea thing. So I think I felt something going on here the other day. So I'm really getting into all of his bedding, all of our bedding, making sure that everything is totally cleaned, totally sprayed down. We're not having that. We're not doing fleas. I was in a house once many years ago where somebody had a cat and the carpet had become infested with fleas and flea eggs. So constantly it was going on, and it was one of those things where I didn't know. So I was using, everybody in the house was using bug bombs, but we were using them like regular, bug sprays, and we'd spray down the carpets and stuff like that. And I was sleeping on the floor of that house, on a blanket or a pad or whatever. This was 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Which I think I was 18. A long time ago. We're going to leave it there. Almost 40 years ago, I guess. So that's what was going on. There was a constant thing going on. Now I know, besides washing bedding, just hit everything with vinegar or lemon juice and they're dead. It eats right through the shells on them and they die. That's any, hard-shelled bug, He's over there in his play area. He's got a pretty big play area. He's got a lot of stuff. In dealing with the thing about the house, one of the little things that I have, a daily reader, was what are you thankful to God for? And my answer was Him, because He is my greatest joy. But in being thankful for Him, I realized that He loves me being His Father. his father, excuse me, because my desire is to continually provide for him and give him the things that he wants. He's got 3 or 4 trucks. I almost got him another one we couldn't afford the other day, but I'll go back for it. He's going to get it in the grocery store. And it's big, and it's not the greatest thing, but it's what he wants. It's a good toy. Anyway, being a father to him, because I didn't have a father. I didn't have a dad. I have had no concept in my whole life about what a father was like. My daughter, I didn't have her for very long when that stuff took place. And, you know, I really made all the mistakes because I didn't have a model of my own. Now that I have him and we have the space and the unconditional love, I get to be his daddy. In fact, if you, joesdad@gmail.com is one of my email addresses, you know, for stuff. It's often what do you call it? If something needs a login name or a name on an account, that's often the one that I use because that's my important role right now in life. It's being his father. In thinking about that and seeing that, I really get how my Father God loves me and wants. It says that He's our Father and He wants to give us good things. And when I think of the good things I want Him to have, the little motorized car and souped up and the bow up there and all the other stuff and all the great things that I long for Him to be able to play with and enjoy. I have another TV in the other room. I'm thinking about hooking it up to the Roku and putting the kids' stuff on it so that he never has to go without it at any time. Kind of putting it in his play area. In the next house, I'm looking forward to a den and a section where it's his stuff. I've dreamed for years of having a popcorn maker and maybe a small ice cream freezer in the house where he always has those things available. I could go on and on. There was a house yesterday on one of those really expensive house things, and it was I think it was the Scripps family. It was their house in Southern California. It had a pool and a pond and a horse stable and volleyball courts and all this other stuff. And they had gotten the house just to raise their children. It was their place where their children, they didn't have to leave the house. As long as groceries came in, everything was there and everything was well cared for. And I thought about how I want my son to have that kind of good. And again, there's the reflection that my Father wants me to have that kind of good. So anyway, looking forward to good things. Not going to talk too much. Going to do the usual shameless plug. The Amazon link and something else down below. Probably the church in Cebu, the Philippines. Before Joseph's mother and I met, I had a long-distance relationship with a woman who was there in the Philippines. And we're still friends. And the pastor there and I are still friends. And they're really trying to grow. They need a website. They need another wing on their building. Anybody who has the desire to, do that... the kind of missionary work where you go over and you help build stuff, they really could use the help. They could use some funding. They could use support in many ways. They're basically still living in kind of a third world country, or second world, I guess you could say. But they have a real heart for God and for growing and for building. Sharing their information is my miniature version of a mission right now today. In the link I share, it goes to Facebook, and there's a link that actually calls Pastor Iglesia directly, so that there's direct communication. I'm not putting myself in the middle of their money or any of that stuff, just making that connection and trying to drive people to them. Really appreciate if you guys would take a look at that. Look at their church on Facebook, that kind of stuff, and if there's a chance of helping, sending a check, whatever, please help them out. We'll come back in a few days with our excellent report and do well. So as my, really working on faith here, I'm learning to say that's not my thought. When the enemy tries to suggest something, what's going wrong. And the enemy has for days suggested, what are you going to do? How are you going to deal with this? What are you going to do with your stuff? What are you going to do with that? All the stuff in the house. And my answer has been, that's not my thought. I'm not going to, I'm not setting up for failure. Another thing that it says don't make space for evil. Don't make a preparation for evil. But it's literally setting up for failure. I'm not doing that. I'm not allowing that. I'm not accepting that. If it does go that way, if it were going to go that way, I know that he has me, and I know that good things are in order. I know that we have, and I know that we have good. One of the other things that's gone on is in prayer. When I lived in a tent some years ago, I actually before that, when things were really bad, and I was like, Father, I need a home, I need a house. And the answer I got back was, I will always put a roof over your head. And then a little bit after that, when I ended up in a tent, which was better than the places that I was, to give you an idea, I once slept in a chair in a house in Paso Robles because I had no place else to go. And it was the drug shooting house. Everybody in that house intravenously used cocaine. And they were doing it all through that house all night long. And I was clean. Didn't drink, didn't use anything. But they were the only people that would take me in and let me have a place to stay, to sleep. And I did that, went through that. Learned a lot. It's been a long journey. Anyway, back to the tent. The answer there was, each time you move, it will be better. It will give you a better home. And then coming here and actually having our own home, not sharing with anybody, not living with anybody, having a place where we can, do our own handprints and all of our other stuff. This has been exciting. This has been incredible. And I know that we have this and more. My desire for this house is to spend the next year or so here while he's blessing our businesses and our income, till we can, go to, there's a house that I really like, that I'd like to have as I move up from this in a year, maybe two. I think about a year. And I'd like to put this one in a family trust, and perhaps have my daughter and her husband move here, so that my children are covered, so that they have something good to start with. This place, again, living in it is much cheaper than renting an apartment or anything anywhere, pretty much. It's a much better deal. I guess that's it.
What are you doing, Emily? Clifford has the bright idea. We're going to help Jenna finish.
You guys, you have my plans, you know my ideas. Will you just lift them up and agree with me? And
I think it's just hard for Jenna.
you guys have a really good day. It's like, what is it? It's 8 o'clock in the morning right now, 8:06. He's been up since 6 a.m. Usually he doesn't get up till like 10:30, 11. So things are changing. We're having a much better day. We're growing in this. Usually I'm up till like 1 in the afternoon. I sleep till 6. Then I'm back up. I may take a nap from like midnight to 2. And then I'm, that's my day. And he's up. It's good. We're back to him having the morning, which means that he'll be asleep this evening. And I got a lot of work done. It's awesome. Doing a lot of social media posting is my big thing, and we're really doing that a lot and getting a lot of returns. My Amazon Prime thing for low-income people is getting a lot of hits all over the country. People are like, what? Is that real? And sharing it with friends, and it's just doing that exponential growth. And I know that it's not me. Honestly, I believe it's tithing. It's being obedient and finding ways to be obedient. posting the thing about the church. Just in the time that I've done that, I've seen a much greater return on Amazon and in other areas. Right now we have 35 phones that are in the process of being accepted and sent out. And again, I could use your agreement that those are done. They all pass through. That's not bad money. That's pays for the the registration on the house, and then some. My desire is for 200 customers a day across the board on all of our programs. If we're getting 200 Amazons, 200 phones, 200 Lavelles, and the other little things that we have a new bank. It's United, which gives us flight miles for the money that we spend, but that one gives $20 automatically when somebody signs up and deposits $40. So we're getting that one out, and those usually pay a lot faster. They really, we'll see $100 in 3 or 4 days just suddenly show up in the account, and that one's really, it's good. It helps other people. It gets us in a good place, and I'm building those flight miles. I'm really seeing us, he and I, traveling more in a little while once this stability period is over. We're getting stable. We're doing good. I'm growing stuff in pots, getting ready to grow things. Actually, I have mint. I have chocolate mint and another mint. I think lemon mint growing in the ground. So the deal was just waiting till I knew the house was ours, then putting something in the ground. Now that I know it's ours, I'm thinking about putting corn in or something else, but I'm going to start putting things in the ground on this property because I don't have to take it out. It's mine. That's it. Big rant. Oh, Joshua's gotten bigger. He's putting on some muscle, but he's putting on some height. Joshua, up. I didn't say on the bed. Get off the bed. Get off the bed. Sit. So he's Doberman and Shepherd, and you can see like he's got both heads. Didn't have to get his ears docked or anything because of the Shepherd. He's hiding behind the shirt there, but he's pretty solid. If you look at him side by side, he's actually gotten taller, putting on some muscle tone, enjoying the walks in the park. We're doing like a bowl and a half of food this week, trying to just enhance that muscle and fill in some of the places where he's giving him the energy to grow. Lay down, Joshua. Lay down in your bed. Lay down in your bed. Thank you. There you go. He's full size. He's not quite European Doberman size, not quite Shepherd size. He's in the middle, but he's still growing. That's it. I'm really going to go. Got some studying to do and some work to do, some posting to do. It's that prime time in the morning. Okay, hey, I say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Say nice talking to you.
I do.
Okay, we'll talk to you all later.
I do.
There's Clifford.